finding the best gaming monitor with my monitor reviews and comparisons. Terrific guys for tuning in. Today we're going to look at a gaming monitor from AOC, the CQ27G2S model. And that's a pretty popular model that seems to be selling very well and for some good reasons. First of all, the size, it's 27-inch, that's just right in the middle. A lot of gamers seem to like that. It has a high refresh rate of 165 Hertz, which is nice. And yeah, it's affordable, guys. It really is affordable. So let's unbox this, test this a little bit. And yeah, I found two small things that might be a downside to that monitor, depending on how you look at it. And I'm going to share that with you in my review. So stay tuned. Let's get rolling, guys. Awesome you're here. Hey guys, how awesome is this? My first AOC monitor. I haven't reviewed them before. I always had the LGs and the Samsungs and so on. So that's really cool to have a dedicated, affordable gaming monitor. And as you can see here, also nice touch from AOC. You open the packaging and you see just like a small illustration how to put together the monitor. So that's actually very useful. Yeah, let's just quickly shake this out of the box. I'm really looking forward to testing this monitor and playing a few games on it at high frame rates. That's what a lot of people are looking for. Let's put the box to the side and having a little bit of a closer look. You see the monitor stand right here, as well as the monitor arm, which we're gonna put together in just a second. And you can also see DisplayPort and HDMI cables are included as well. I would always recommend you to use DisplayPort if you can, since it can transfer more data. And another thing, if you shop for budget monitors, sometimes they are not height adjustable. So that's good to know that this particular AOC model, a gaming monitor, has the height adjustable stand. Sometimes that's not included. So please pay attention when you shop for a monitor. So quickly putting together this monitor, let's zoom in a little bit for you here so that you can see how to do that, and a few close-up shots of the material and the build quality. I'm just screwing this in by hand and then make sure to tighten it a little bit with the screwdriver. And that's basically all there is to it. And you can see it's a very nicely designed. You can safely, with some of the packaging material, put this in an upright position, remove this styrofoam material as well as the remaining packaging material, and you can see the red color accents, I think, lend themselves very well to this AOC gaming monitor. So let's give it a test run. And the first thing that you might want to consider when picking the gaming monitor is obviously the panel type, as you can see in the side here, because there are twisted pneumatic, vertical alignment and in-plane switching. And all these monitors have different image characteristic. In the case of this AOC monitor, that's a vertical alignment that should have a good contrast ratio. But compared to in-plane switching, the in-plane switching, maybe the colors are a little bit nicer, especially when viewed from an angle, because IPS has better viewing angle stability, in my opinion. And a good example for that would be the LG 34GN850. Ultra-wide monitor with the IPS panel that I reviewed earlier. And if you want to see that review, you can also look here up. And why do I mention that? Because obviously this AOC monitor gaming monitor has a curvature, but as you can see, it's only 27-inch. So it's the 16:9 aspect ratio, the normal size, but there are different aspect ratios. So the LG that I showed you in the shot just a second ago, that, for example, was an ultra-wide monitor. So please consider the aspect ratios, whether you want 16:9 or 21:9. Those are probably the most popular. And 21:9, I think, is a great, the ultra-wides are great for buying a monitor with curvature. Here with the 16:9, it's not necessary in my opinion, but some people may prefer that. What's a little bit of a special thing are the super wides, the 32:9, like the Samsung Odyssey that I did. That also had a VA panel, and that's 32:9, guys, is really essentially twice as big. The Samsung was twice as big as the AOC. You can basically imagine having two of these next to each other. It's really massive. My speakers would be disappearing behind that. And from the 16:9 aspect ratio, if it's 21:9, you would have something extra on both sides. That's a consideration. Another awesome thing that more and more monitors are equipped with right now, or that you can use, is software. Because usually with this AOC monitor, for example, I didn't like as much this on-screen control panel. that was not as convenient as I, for example, know from some other monitors to use, but it's actually no problem, because if you go to the AOC website, you have two softwares. Don't use the iMenu, use the G-Menu software, download that. And with that G-Menu software, you can control not only your monitor, but a lot of other products from AOC, such as keyboards, mouse, or your headset and so on. So why don't I show you that real quick? I've already installed that. You go to your taskbar and click the software, and you can control, most importantly, what I always like to change a lot is the brightness level. So I've turned the brightness all the way up, but you can also change the color temperature and so on and so forth, eco mode, or you can put it into a game mode, which makes the colors even more richer. And why don't we quickly jump into a game? This is a game I enjoyed really a lot, Titanfall 2, a little bit futuristic. It's not the newest game, but that also has a benefit. It still looks good, but it's a little bit gentler on your hardware. Because guys, if you buy a high frame rate monitor, please don't forget you need a proper hardware for that. And here in the side card you can see I have an AM4 system of Ryzen 5600X and 32 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA RTX 4070. And in that combo, the graphics card is a little bit more powerful than the CPU. So I'm already running a slight CPU bottleneck, not too heavy. And jumping quickly into a game, we want to check whether we get the frame rate. And yes, since it's not the most demanding game, I have no problem hitting the 165 FPS. That's very nice. So why don't we move a little bit through the map here, show you how that works. And guys, I have to say, yeah, some newer games, let's say, if I would open Cyberpunk, with Cyberpunk, my system is struggling hitting these 165 FPS. So my recommendation, if you want to have a high frame rate monitor with a WQHD resolution or higher, I would really recommend you to check what frames your PC can render. That's something people sometimes forget. I mean, a lot of people think about that, but sometimes that is not considered by all customers. So guys, why don't I quickly recap how you can, or what you can consider, or what you should consider when picking the best gaming monitor possible for you. So here, as a monitor comparison, you see the lower the hertz or the higher the hertz, the lower the resolution, the higher the resolution, that affects the price. So a 60 Hz Full HD monitor should be very affordable, and a 4K, 144, 165 Hz monitor, especially if it's IPS, should increase in price. So, and that leads us to the conclusion that this AOC monitor with the WQHD resolution sits right in the middle, right in the sweet spot. But still, why has it a high frequency and is affordable? Of course, because it's a VA panel monitor. If you keep that down here in mind, these relationships between high frame rate and low frame rate and the panel types, which I showed you earlier, then you can pick the right monitor. Or when you see a monitor, you know where approximately it sits in the positioning from the product portfolio of the manufacturer in the market. And guys, this concludes the review of the AOC gaming monitor. So far, a quick summary. I would say this monitor has a really good price value. Now it's debatable whether I would get a 27-inch monitor with curvature. For me personally, I would say 27-inch is still a little bit small to have a curvature. Normally I would get a curved monitor when I go from the 16:9 to the 21:9, where I showed you the LG that I reviewed earlier with the super ultra wides. That makes a little bit more sense in my opinion, because it's wider, so there the curvature is a little bit more enveloping. But overall, I like that the monitor, the AOC gaming monitor, is height adjustable. You can move it up, you can move it down. Sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, that's with budget monitors, sometimes they are not height adjustable. So that's a plus point that the AOC has that. You can also move it a little bit to the left and to the right if you want to turn it a little bit. That's convenient. And overall, it's a high refresh rate monitor at a great value. So I really give this AOC gaming monitor a thumbs up. That's a really good option. And yeah, if you look for something with similar specs, or you even get this particular model, you should be fine. And guys, let me know what other monitors you want to see, and I see you as a subscriber in the next video. Stay terrific, guys.